Very good afternoon to one and all. And the last topic of the grammar class today is going to be on modal verbs. Okay. So the topic includes, so in today's topic, what is it that we are going to study? So what we will learn today is how to recognize what modal verbs are, identify the variety of uses of modals in expressing meaning, and use modals in writing. So this is the objective of my today's class. So let us try to understand what modal verbs are. Okay. So modal verbs in English are also called as helping verbs. They're not just verbs, but they're called as helping verbs, which is used together with the base verbs or the main form of verbs. Remember, we cannot use modal verbs independently. You have to use it with the main verb in your sentence. Okay. So the purpose of using this modal verbs or helping verbs is that you using modal verbs, you can express different types of meanings in English. So before I start, let me give you some examples of modal verbs in English. These are the modal verbs in English that we use. Can, could, will, would, may, might, must, shall, should. So these are the examples of modal verbs, okay, which are used in English to use different or to express different types of meanings in English. Okay. So other than can, could, may, might, will, would, must, shall, should, sometimes there are some other modals like have to, need to, ought to, which are also partially called as modal verbs in English. So now let us try to understand the structure of the modal verbs in English. Look at this sentence. I shall be leaving when everything is done. Look at this sentence. I shall be leaving when everything is done. What do you notice in this sentence is that, okay, shall be leaving is highlighted with blue color and underlined. So this is where we have to understand what this shall be leaving is. If you try to split this phrase, shall be leaving, which is a verb phrase, it can be split into three parts. Shall, be, and leaving. Okay. Now this verb phrase can be divided into three parts. Shall here is an example of modal auxiliary. Be is called as the primary auxiliary, and the main verb is leaving. So what you notice in this example is that, okay, the verb phrase shall be leaving is divided into three parts. Shall is called as the modal auxiliary, be is called as the primary auxiliary, and the main verb in the sentence or in the phrase is leave, which is nothing but leaving. It is I shall be leaving when everything is done. It's talking about the future. So you can see leave is converted to leaving. So by this structure, we understand that the place of the modal verbs always comes before the main verb. Okay. However, in this example, there is a primary auxiliary which is coming in between the modal auxiliary and the main verb. But however, it is not necessary that all sentences which comprises of a main verb and which comprises of modal verbs must have primary auxiliary. Primary auxiliary may or may not be there, but in this example, it is there. So let us take some more examples. I will punish. Now look at this example. Will punish. Will is a modal auxiliary. Punish is a main verb. I can swim. Can is a modal auxiliary. And swim is the main verb. Okay. Then you can see I shall be leaving. The example which I took just now. In this example, shall is a modal auxiliary. Leaving is a main verb. But here in this example, be is the primary auxiliary. Whereas in the previous example, you don't find primary auxiliary. Then he could walk yesterday. So could is a modal auxiliary. Main verb is walk. Main verb is walk. So what you can see is the modal auxiliary will always come before the main verb. Now, usually in the present tense, the modal verbs can is used in the present tense. And when you want to talk about the past tense, we don't say can, we say could. Whenever we want to talk about the present tense, I use will. Will can be used in the present tense. The past form of will is would. Shall is also used in the present tense. Should is used in the past tense. May is used in the present tense. And past tense we use might. Okay, so this is the general structure of can, will, shall, may in the present. Could, would, should, might in the past tense. However, there are exceptions. If you look at the sentence, she may be at home, she might be in school. I just now told you that may is used in the present and might is used in the past tense. But in these two examples, if I ask you where is your friend, you may say she may be at home, she might be in school. So may and might in this example are used in the present tense. So it's not always necessary that might should always be used in the past. Okay, in this example, might can also be used to talk about the present. So similarly, if you look at these two sentences, shall is used in the present tense. I told you that the past form of shall is should. So I can say I shall take part in the competition next month. I should be doing my homework instead of playing games. Now should here is not used in the past form, but rather it is used in the present. So if I say I shall be taking part in the competition next month, actually shall is used in the present, but next month is telling you that you're going to do it in the future. So shall here is an example of present, but talking about future. Should, however, is not talking about the past. You are saying that I should be doing my homework instead of playing games. So should here is again used in the present tense. So it is not necessary that might and should are always used in the past tense. There are exceptions wherein you can use should and might to talk about the present tense. Now, coming to the real application of modal verbs in English. What is the actual application or areas of usage of modals in English? So, what we generally do is modals are used for four purposes. Of course, there is another purpose which I will discuss later. First main important purpose is that whenever you want to talk about possibility or prediction, okay, you can use modals. Whenever you want to tell somebody to do something which is compulsory or which is an obligation, you use modals. Whenever you want to give suggestion or whenever you feel something is necessary, you or necessity or insistence means suggestion, you can use modals. And the last application is to talk about ability. So the four important applications of modals in English language is to talk about possibility, to make something obligation, to talk about necessity, insistence or recommendation, and to talk about ability. So let us take the first part, that is possibility. Now here this figure is something which is very, very important. If you look at this figure, there is an arrow mark, okay, very unlikely to very likely, okay. Now look at this. Whenever you are very sure, 100% sure that something cannot happen, okay, it cannot rain today. It cannot rain today means I'm telling the possibility is 100% not possible. Very unlikely. Now, nowadays it's the summer season and you find the sky is completely blue in color. Suppose you find that the temperature is around 39 degrees in Belgium today and the sky is completely blue and there is no symptom of clouds, then you can say it cannot rain today. So something which you are very unlikely, okay, you're talking about possibility but in a negative sense. It cannot rain today means very, very 100% sure, you know that it will not rain, then you use cannot. Same thing, if you are 100% sure about something that is going to 100% happen. If you find that there are dark clouds, okay, on the sky, then you can say it must rain today. Look at the sky, look at the cloud. It is so dense, it is so dark, it must be raining. It must be raining somewhere in Belgium. So when you are 100% very, very likely that something is going to happen, you use must. So cannot is used for possibility in the negative sense and must is 100% sure Okay, if I ask you, where is your friend? You may say, ma'am, he must be sleeping at home. Okay, he must be sleeping at home. If I ask you, okay, where is that close friend of yours? I don't find him in the Zoom meeting. Then you may say, you are very, very 100% sure. Possibility, but sure, 100% sure. Then you will say, ma'am, he must be sleeping. He must be nicely sleeping at home. Okay, so must is used for 100% likely, cannot is used for 100% very unlikely. So similarly, could and might is something when you're not sure. It is something like, 50-50. Oh no, it could rain, it might rain today, it could rain. So could and might is like 50-50, not very sure. Now you can see can and may is something like 75%. I think it can rain today, it may rain today. That's something like more possibility. 75% sure. And when will and shall generally are used like very 90%. It is not 100% sure, but more possibility of, it will rain, it shall rain today. So will and shall you can use when you are 90% sure about something. But must is when you are 100% sure, and cannot is when you are 100% sure it is not possible. So these are the modal verbs that we use to talk about possibility and look at the degree. 100% negativity cannot, 100% positivity must. In between, 50-50 could and might, 75% can and may, and will and shall is something which is very, very close to very likely. So this is how we use the modal verbs to talk about possibility, and these are the modal verbs that we use whenever we want to talk about possibility. Now coming to the next application is obligation. What is obligation? I want to make something compulsory. Nowadays it is obligatory to wear mask. Okay, suppose you are traveling somewhere within the city premise, you are going to college or going to office, and then the rule will say you should wear mask. So whenever you want to put a implication or you want to put an obligation, you want to impose a rule on others, whether they like it or they don't like it, they have to follow. We use should and must. Remember, when you want, like generally, whenever you come across question papers in the examination, you'll come across this obligation, modal verbs, should and must. You must write in black ink. You must write with ballpoint pen. You should wear your ID cards. Okay, you must carry your hall ticket. So should and must is used whenever you want to make something compulsion. Then necessity, insistence. Now what is the meaning of necessity and insistence? It is similar to obligation. The only thing is the person to whom you are insisting, to whom you are making certain things necessity, may or may not follow it. But then it may be your duty to tell. Okay, you may tell your friend, look guy, look brother, okay, it's very dangerous to drive on the road. You must be wearing your helmet. So must can be used for obligation. It can also be used to talk necessity or insisting. Insisting means suggestion. Hey, you must be wearing your helmet. Okay, means you're just suggesting, but it's left to the person whether to take it or not to take. Hey, you need to be wearing your helmet. You see, so need to, must is something. Need to and must, okay, are used whenever you want to tell somebody, you're insisting somebody, or you're asking them, you're suggesting somebody. So when you're suggesting necessity, insistence, you can use need to, and sometimes must is also used. So must is used for obligation as well as for necessity. Then ability. Now what is ability? Ability is something which you can do and which you cannot do. If I ask you, can you sing? You may say, yes, I can swing. I can sing. Okay, can you, but if you are very sure, can you swim? I ask you. Okay, suppose I want you to, suppose there is a pond, okay, and then you want to swim, then you are asking your friend, hey friend, can you swim? So he may say, I can, or he may say, I cannot. So it is talking about ability. So could is used to express ability in the past also. Sometimes you could say, I could sing when I was a child. So could is generally used to talk about ability in the past. Can is used to talk about ability at the present, and cannot is also ability but in the negative sense. So these are the applications of modal verbs in English. Okay, so I have taught you what modal verbs are. Modal verbs are verbs, but they are helping verbs. You cannot directly use a modal verb independently. It has to be used with the main verb. Sometimes A primary auxiliary like be may come in between modal auxiliary and main verb, and most of the time it doesn't. So I told you modals are used to express possibility, obligation, necessity, and ability. And I have showed you all the examples of possibility. These are the modal verbs which you can use to talk about possibility. And the degree, okay, 100% negative, 100% positive. Negative cannot, positive must. 50-50, could, might, can, may, 75%, will, shall, 90%. Obligation, you can use should and must. No other. You ought to, you need to. Other than should and must, you can also use ought to, you need to. Okay, this is also used for obligation. And for necessity, you can say you need to, must. Okay, then ability, can, cannot. So these are the 4 application areas of modal verbs. Now other than these, we can also use modal verbs to ask help, okay, or to whenever you want to ask somebody some kind of help. Could you please help me? Can you please uh, help me in lifting this chair? May I come in? May I come in? Or you're taking a permission here. And whenever you want to make a request, could, or could, can, okay, could is more polite. Can I borrow your pen? Could you please lend me your pen? Could is more polite. Can is not that very polite. Okay, would you, would can also be used to ask help. Would you please help me? Okay, could you please, can you please, would you? Okay, can, could, would can also be used to ask help. Okay, and if you want to take permission, may I come in? May is also kind of a request only, but at the same time you're asking permission. So this is the application of modal verbs. Now I will take one more small presentation on how modals can be used to express past possibilities. Okay, we'll take more examples of modal verbs to express past possibilities. Okay, you're talking about the past. Remember, could, past possibility, could. Okay, now when do we talk about past? Guesses about the past. Whenever you want to make some guess about the past, we talk about past possibilities. Okay, like for example, where did Angela visit? Can you guess? Now I'm asking you to guess. Okay, where did Angela visit? Can you guess? So your guess, how are you going to answer this? How are you going to answer this? Okay, now when you want to answer about guesses, you may say she might have visited relatives. So this is one example. Now you're answering. Now what are you trying to do? You're guessing, but you're talking about the past. Okay, look at the question carefully. Where did Angela visit? Can you guess? So she has already visited some place which in the past, and now you have to make a guess. Now when you're making a guess, you may answer it like this. She may have visited relatives. So may is used here to talk about guess. She must have not traveled far with 2 small children. This is another guess that you're doing. So look at the modal verbs you're using. You're using she may have visited relatives. She must not have traveled far with two small children. Now, in the first case, you're talking positive. She may have visited relatives. She must not have, because you're talking negative. She must not have. Now, look at the must. Must is, remember, possibility you're talking, must is used when you're 100% sure something has. When must is generally used for 100% possibility, and may comes in between. Okay? Then, so you can also use modal verbs to talk about past to express certainty or possibility. Like 100% certain about past event, then no modal verbs required. Now whenever you want to talk about certainty, where you are very sure that you know something has happened, but you are 100% sure. Angela was on vacation. She took a trip. Last week she was traveling. She has returned from her trip. Now, if you look at these examples, you are very sure about certain things. So when you are 100% sure about the past events, you are not going to use any modal verbs. So you're saying Angela was on vacation. She must have been on vacation. If you say means, then you're not sure. Okay. She might have taken a trip. So when the moment you say might, must, may, it means you're not sure. But when you are 100% sure about certain events in the past, don't use any modal verbs. Okay, so here are examples wherein you're talking about the past, wherein past events, wherein certain things were, you're very sure, 100% certain about past events, then you're not going to use any modal verbs. Then 100% certain about past events, no modals need required. So this is what I showed you just now. Okay, then past possibilities. Now how would you talk about past possibilities when not 100% certain about past events? Now you are guessing that something might have happened, but you're not sure about it. Okay, then what you do, we use maybe, perhaps, it's possible, that it's likely. So these are some of the phrases that you may use. So here you can see. So which modal verbs you can use when you're not sure about the past events? Maybe, might, could, must. Okay, may, might, could, must are the modal verbs that you use to talk about past possibilities. Okay, so as I already told, you can use modal verbs in the past to express ability. I could swim, I could sing, I could dance, I could run 100 meters in 1 minute. Now, all these are expressing a necessity. Okay, necessity. You must. I told you this just now. I have told you the actual implications of modal verbs. Okay. So, the structure of the past form of the modal verbs generally will have the modal verb followed by have and the past participle. That is, this is the structure. So, for example, affirmative means positive. She may have visited relatives. Again, the question is, where did Angela must have gone? What Angela must have done? Okay, then she may have visited relatives. Look at the structure of the past. May followed by have and the past participle. May have visited. If it is negative, then you say she must not have traveled far with two small children. So this is the structure. So whenever you want to talk about certainty in the past, okay, you should ask the question how certain, whether it is 100% certain or less certain. Okay, whether it is affirmative or negative. Affirmative, must have, had to have, may have. Okay, must will be used when it is 100% sure. Had to have, okay, couldn't have, must not. So these are the, look at the way the modals have been used here. Must have, had to have, couldn't have is negative, must not have. If we are not very sure about the degree or the percentage, then you say may have, might have, could have, may not have, might not have. Okay, so this is the these are the modal verbs may, might, could, which comes into existence. So let's take some more examples. Example, assume that there is some fact. We spent a lot of time outdoors. Okay, we spent a lot of time outdoors. Now this is some fact. Now you can talk about your guesses. Why did we spend a lot of time outdoors, or where we might have spent? So they probably had good weather in Pennsylvania. For example, why did we spend a lot of time outdoors? Possibility is that they probably had good weather in Pennsylvania. Okay, then they must have had good weather in Pennsylvania. Here there is no modal use. Here I'm using they must have had good weather in Pennsylvania. Then another example. My daughter received a lot of clothes. Now you will guess why. Now this is a fact. My daughter received a lot of clothes. So you have to make some guesses. Okay. It's possible she got them from an older cousin. Okay, it's possible. Now no modal verbs is used, but still you are making guesses. You want to make a modal, you want to use modal verbs. She may have gotten them from an older cousin. The sentence meaning is same, but in the first sentence I made a guess without using a modal verb. It's possible she got them from an older cousin. She may have gotten them from an old, may have, not very sure. Okay, so may have. All are correct. So may have, might have, could have, or you can say she could have gotten them from an older cousin. She might have gotten them from an older cousin. Then, another fact. We decided to break the long drive in 2 days. Now, the question here, this is a fact. We decided to break the long drive in 2 days. Now, if I ask you to make some guesses, why did we do that? Okay, why did we do that? Then, in that case, you could guess. You could make a guessing like this. It's most likely that they stayed in a hotel one night. It's most likely. Now, here no modal verb is used. Then, they must have stayed in a hotel one night. Okay, must have. Similarly, you can say also, or you can say they had to have stayed in hotel, or they might have had stayed. They might have had stayed in a hotel. They had to have stayed in hotel. All these examples are correct. Then we saw a baby elephant. This is a fact. Now make some guesses. Okay, perhaps they went to the zoo. Perhaps they went to the zoo. They might have gone to the zoo. They may have gone to the zoo. They might have gone to the zoo. Okay, all are correct. May have, might have, could have gone to the zoo. So this is how may, might, could are used to express modals in the past form. So this is all about modal verbs in English. I have completed grammar topics and vocabulary topics for as per your syllabus. Okay, so the next class, now before I start with my next class, I want to tell you all that I'm going to conduct an online test next week. Okay, it is going to be multiple choice questions. Whatever grammar and vocabulary I have taught you all so far, questions on these will be asked, and this is a part of your IA test. I told you for communicative English class, you don't have SEE, semester end examination, but you have 4 IA tests. All 4 IA tests are mandatory. So I'm going to conduct an online test which will be evaluated for 15 marks. All 15 questions will have 15 questions, no negative marking. Okay, the questions will be based on the grammar and the vocabulary topics that I have so far covered. So very soon I will be giving you notifications on WhatsApp group. Okay, I will tell you what will be the platform. I mean, you'll have to use internet. Okay, there is a website called as Quizstar. Okay, and I'm going to conduct this exam on Quizstar, which is an online application, online web application. I'll be generating user ID and password and distributing it in the WhatsApp group. So start preparing and reading about the grammar and the vocabulary that I have taught you so far. So all the details will be messaged on the WhatsApp group.